Hello there, and welcome back to War Thunder. So this is now the 1.98 dev server, and this is a very important change because this is an uneven number, and I think the next update will be War Thunder 2.0, I guess. So that is there a little bit of a change right at the beginning. This is the first dev server, everything is subject to change. This is just to show what is there on the first dev server, and I split it up in 3 videos. I split it into tanks, ships, and of course also planes, including the few helicopters. And I'm just showing them briefly in the hangar, talk just here about some minor, very interesting things here and there, but not too much detail. This is not a review, there is too much content, and I'm sorry about this. If there is something interesting, you can pause the video and look at the stat card or whatever I open there right away. When I go through the nations, beginning from the left to the very right, nation by nation. So let's begin with the American HSTVL 9.3. There you can see it. Armor, well, very thin but very bouncy. T92 on steroids, I guess. 5.5 second reload. This is the ammunition. The XM855 seems to be okay. Light tank 9.3, thermal imaging, scouting, whatever you want. Horsepower to ton ratio is way above 30, 32 and a half, something like this. Really fast. Yeah, that's about it. Then we come to Germany, and they get the M48 Super. At first I was laughing, the hull hasn't really changed to the normal M48 Super. Then we have still a 105 L7A3 gun, but then we have the composite screen. They do not really add too much versus kinetical rounds. You still can go through with APDS without any problems, but versus chemical energy rounds, this just stops all shells. There might be some helicopter missiles go through, but this is really strong. But who fires heat anyway at 9.3? That's the question. Not really my favorite, but horsepower to ton ratio goes too close to 20, so that's a thing. Then we come to the Soviets. They get the unpronounceable thing, and they, well, the launcher is very much at the top. You have 2 of them. This is the first ground radar, and very special nation here, 9.7, and we get also not just this very strong ATGM. It's a tandem warhead, so it doesn't give a damn about Euro protection, and it punches basically through everything, I guess. And then we also have this really meaty HE ATGM, whatever you fancy. It's a bit of a niche one. It's not, it's actually, yeah, horsepower to ton ratio is just above 20. Yeah, if you want it, basically an improved Sturm. Then Great Britain, we get the Challenger 2-2F. Now this has special add-on screen protection, but in essence, why does it change to arcade all the time? But yeah, horsepower to ton ratio is around about 20, not really that fast at top tier, but basically that is the stock round. That is the upgraded round, and the Dorchester 2F you have to actually research. I'm not sure if this is worth another probably 390,000 RP. And you know, the thing is, lower glacis still a weak spot. Turret, Traverse Edge, still a massive weak spot. And here there is practically no protection. It still goes through. Currently there is a funny black hole eating up the shell. They could see it. Especially if you shoot it slightly from above. Yeah, it just goes into the void. It does no damage whatsoever. That's a bug. I hope Gudgeon will fix it. Other than this, this is pretty strong. Versus the turret, not even the very best of AP FSDS goes through it. Then has resistance of yeah, above 700, 760. It's really strong, but again, dead center, same weak spot. No, I would pass on it. Then we also get the Stuart 1 and the Stuart 3 for your pleasure. Moving on to Japan, and we have the Type 93. This is Japan's first SAM system, and yeah, it is really cool. Here, look at this horsepower to ton ratio of 57.7. That is really meaty. So we will see if this is really making a difference. Battle rating 9.3, and this is the warhead, surface to air missile. Those are the statistics, and when we then have a look, yeah, it's also dirty cheap to run at first. So will be really fun to see how this will work and what this can do versus helicopters. Not that much, range is limited, but versus aircraft I think that's pretty good. Then we come to China, and they get the here this SPA, the ZSD63. Looks pretty funky. This is the belt here, mixed belt, HE and AP. And then we come to the T69-2G. I think this is the replacement for the T62, which I never really thought is really fun and competitive. And the T69-2 basically has it all. Now, first of all, Western heat, Western hash, and then also a decent AP FSDS, pretty good for 8.7. And then this will be my favorite. This will be my favorite. This is a proximity fuse heat shell, or HE shell, 21 millimeters of penetration. Yeah, that looks cool. Only night vision device, so no thermal imaging, but laser rangefinder. So yeah, there you have it. Probably definitely better than the T62. Then we come to Italy, and they get a big load of new low tier tanks. So we get the M4 hybrid, we get the M3A3, we get the M24, we get the M4A4, and we also get the M18 Hellcat. And on top of this, we get also the Sherman VC or Sherman 5C. So this is pure copy paste. What really boggles my mind is that they give now the Italians a Hellcat, and this again is a lot of allied vehicles in an Axis nation. So for a simulator, this is just a big face palm. But hey, yeah, I think we're far past that. Then France, they get the D2. Now, at first, this doesn't really look all that impressive, 40 millimeters, but this is the battle rating of 1.3. So if you angle this, this will become a micro mouse, because look at this. 80 millimeters, and if you angle it correctly, 50, 60 millimeters. Turret is notoriously bouncy and trolley, especially versus low tier. Put a bush all over it for this battle rating. This will be a ruffle stomp vehicle. The only thing that really lets it down is the gun, but you still can work at it, I think, at 1.3. So this will become a micro mouse. Then we also get the funny MX-13 M24, and this vehicle looks wrong. It looks wrong. It looks like the wrong way around, quite literally. Battle rating 3.3. Gun wise, this is in my opinion definitely not shabby at all. So yeah, sadly no first plane stabilizer, but hey. Then we come to the Swedish, and the STRF 9056 is a bit of a facepalm, because they give Sweden now its third 40mm autocannon with AP FSDS and proximity fuse, etc. And on top of this, also those missiles. Now, they might not be perfect. Range is very limited, mid 2.2 kilometers. But at the end of the day, it's all about the 40mm, and that's the third one. And Gajin already estimates decent performance with this more or less stock vehicle being at nearly 10k RP. 10k civil line repair cost. So this has been the tanks, and this was a brief overview, just short and snappy. I think a lot of things will change, and obviously, as usual, this video was dedicated to my good friend theOrangeDoom because he loves dev servers. So a lot of copy paste, a lot of high tier stuff, a lot of unnecessary stuff in my opinion. A lot of people obviously will disagree, but then also this copy paste for Italy, completely out of the question. Next video will be about planes, and then also the third one will be about ships.